Hi Pirates, welcome back for more e-learning fun. Today we're kicking off a topic that some of you maybe have heard about. These are called complex numbers. Complex numbers actually means we're going to the imaginary world. Keep your seatbelts on. By definition, the square root of -1, which we previously couldn't do, is equal to I, which is an imaginary number. So when we go to simplify our square roots, I can actually break it up into an imaginary piece, square root of -1, times something we might know or might be able to simplify like we did before. Square root of 36 is 6, and now we're going to say that the square root of -1 is I. Remember that calculator you hopefully put onto your phone or your iPad, Calculate 84. If we go into mode, you can actually change the mode to complex. This is going to be really great. Hit enter. That will highlight complex. You're going to want to quit out of there. Now what happens, watch this magic, Pirates, if I type in the square root of -36, OMG, it knows the answer in complex form. I can also simplify radicals just like I did before in my chapters. This is really equal to the square root of 20 times the square root of -1. So I know I need an I. Now, does anybody remember how did we simplify the square root of 20? That's right, we made a ladder. Self, what goes into 20? I've got 2 and another 2 and a 5 and a 5 and a 1. So a pair of 2's come outside. My square root of -1 turns into an I, and then my spare stays inside the house. Unfortunately, we can't simplify that one on the calculator because it's not a perfect square. We can also add, subtract, multiply our complex numbers. So I'm going to do a couple examples from our worksheet for today. This first one is example 5 in the add, subtract, multiply category. For the most part, I just kind of floats along just like any other variable that you're used to working with. So I can take the 5, distribute. I can take the negative, think of it as an invisible -1 that I'm distributing. So I have a -2 minus 7i. And then I want to think about this as combining like terms. Numbers play with numbers, i's play with i's. They don't play with each other. 15 minus 2 gives me a 13. -20 minus 7 is -27i. Now, if you are into using your calculator, the I is located above the decimal point. So let me show you. You might even feel like you're cheating, but you're not, because our quest is going to be all a calculator quest. You're going to type this question in exactly like you see it. This is another way to get to the same answer. I've got parentheses, 3 minus 4. I is located right above the decimal point. So we're going to have second I. If you want to scooch out of those parentheses, you're going to use your right arrow, just like you're used to using on the calculator, minus, safety first parentheses, 2 plus 7. Put in your I. OMG. 13 minus 27i. Looks like my calculator is doing pretty well also. Okay, for the next one, we are going to multiply. Now again, friends, I remind you, download that calculator app. That's going to be the easiest, most efficient way to get to these answers, but you can also figure them out by hand. A little fun fact you need to know is that I squared is equal to -1. So we're going to be able to simplify. I have a quantity times a quantity. What's my favorite 4-letter F word? FOIL. You got that right. Double distributive, first times first, gives me 15. 3 times 6i. The numbers multiply together. Okay. 5 times 4i, 20i. 4 times 6 is 24, but I times I is I squared. So it's important to know we're going to do this little trade. I have 15, 38i plus 24 times -1. Now from here, 15 minus 24, and again, you are welcome to use a calculator if you feel like that's helpful to you. 15 minus 24 gives me negative 9 plus 38i. They are not like terms. They will not play together. Friendly reminder, you can absolutely type this into your calculator. So I have 3 plus 4 second I, close parentheses, times, no space between, 5 plus 6i. Negative 9 plus 38i, looks like we did it well. Hope you enjoyed your complex numbers. Now it's your turn to try some examples.